Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I am feeling a little bit under the weather, so if my voice sounds a little bit off, that's the reason why. But I felt really called to do this reading. What I was hearing intuitively is that a lot of people right now are experiencing heartache. There's been a lot of breakups, betrayals, and things of that sort. I'm sure you've seen it all over social media. All the celebrities are breaking up. There's a bunch of just information coming out about people being traumatized by their past partners, abuse, and things of that sort. It's just a very, very heavy energy that I'm sensing in the collective. And I was called to do this reading because, from what I'm hearing intuitively, a lot of you could be going through heartbreak right now, or you could be realizing that somebody that you loved and someone who you were attached to was just not genuine. What I was hearing is that this person turned out to be the opposite of who they claimed to be, and that you ended up feeling like this person has been wearing a mask the entire time, right? That they have been hiding who they really are in order to be in a relationship with you, in order to keep you attached to them. And I know firsthand how devastating that is. I've dated more than one narcissist, and I'm not just using the word narcissist loosely. I see people on the internet say, oh, everyone's throwing around the word narcissist. Well, unfortunately for me, I've dated narcissists who are actually narcissist, like personality disorder narcissist. And if any of you have dated a narcissist, then you know that when that mask falls off, it's so painful because they show you this other side to them that's like completely foreign to who they presented themselves to be. They're extremely cold, they're extremely cruel. It's hard to explain unless you've been through it. So some of you have experienced realizing that you've been with a narcissist, or if they're not a full-blown narcissist, then they just have highly narcissistic tendencies, and they just showed you a side of themselves that you never knew existed. And again, I've been there. I know how painful it is to feel that betrayal. It messes with your self-esteem. It makes you feel extremely paranoid because you feel like, who can I trust moving forward? It makes you feel this sense of emptiness, this sense of loneliness because of how that love is just snatched away from you so suddenly. Um, it throws you into this intense period of grief, anger, darkness. It opens up like your rejection wounds, your abandonment wounds. It's just not pretty. It's not a pretty feeling at all. And it disturbs me that so many people are going through this. So I'm hoping that this reading will give you some type of comfort and give you some type of closure. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first question I asked my tarot cards is, why did this person pretend? Like, why were they putting on an act like they loved you and kept you hanging on to them for so long? So the first two cards out are the rebirth card and the comparison card in reverse. So what I'm getting is that this is a person who, and I know this might sound cliche, but they are a deeply traumatized person. Doesn't excuse what they've done whatsoever, but this is going to give you a look into their mind or look into their psyche. So with the rebirth card being here in the reverse, what I'm seeing is that they experienced something extremely traumatic at some point in their life, or they've experienced numerous traumatic things throughout their life, and they were never able to fully recover from them. It's like the image that I'm getting in my mind is them just being broken and just kind of staying broken. Like they never had a period of grieving, self-soothing, having people, love them through it. Like they never had any of that. It's like once they broke, they just broke and didn't have the tools to overcome it. I feel like the people who were around them, who were supposed to love them and who were supposed to uplift them, were the ones who actually broke them, is what I'm hearing. So this definitely could be like their parents, their family. But this is a very, very, very broken human being. I hope that I'm explaining this well, because the imagery that I'm getting in my mind, it's like someone who breaks and just stays that way. I don't know how else to explain it. You know how when you feel like your spirit has been broken or your heart has been broken, and you have to go through this whole stage of this whole period of like healing to come out the other side of it, healed and ready to try again. This person didn't have the tools to do that. And I feel like they may have been too young to even process this type of trauma or heartbreak that they experienced. So they just kind of stayed that way. And now they're just not right psychologically. Like there's just something not right with them in the head. Is what I'm getting. The comparison card is here as well, and it's in the reverse. So I feel like this is a person who they felt like you were someone who didn't judge them. They felt like you were someone who looked at them and thought highly of them, unlike other people. And so that was a large part of the reason why they wanted to hold on to you for so long. It's like you saw the good in them that other people didn't see, and they enjoyed you seeing that good in them, but it's like they didn't want to do the work to actually become good. They just wanted someone around them that could see it in them. They wanted someone around them who would just believe that about them without having to do the work. It's kind of like, it might sound like a weird example, but it's kind of like if someone comes to you and lies to you and says like, "Hey, I work for NASA. Like I am this top engineer at NASA," right? They've never worked at NASA. They've never gone to school to be an engineer, but they love it when you brag about them. They love it when you're on social media saying, "Hey, my partner is an engineer at NASA." It makes them feel good, but they've never actually done the work to do it. You see what I'm saying? It's like they like the fact that you see this good in them, but they don't want to do the work to actually become the good that you see in them. So that's why they lie and they fake it so that you can keep on feeding them with that validation, is what I'm seeing. They are desperately in need of love and validation. And that's why they wanted you to hold on to them for so long and they lied the way that they did. Let me pull one more. I also feel like this person, once they have someone like you, like a person who genuinely has a good heart, they want to hold on to that person forever. But again, they don't want to do the work to meet your needs, but they want to hold on to you forever so you could keep meeting their needs for validation. So they'll do whatever they have to do to keep you hanging on. They'll lie. They'll say, "Oh, I'll change. Oh, we can go to." Some of them even can say, "We'll go to therapy together. We'll get it right. I've learned. I've reflected." Like they'll lie and act like they're changing, but they're actually not, because they just want to hold on to you so you can keep on meeting their needs. Like they're very juvenile. They're very broken. They're very childlike, and they're very selfish. It's like they can't see past their own needs. They want you to meet their needs, but they cannot meet yours. But they don't see that as a problem because they're so messed up mentally. All they can see is their own needs getting met. So the next two cards I've pulled are the patience card and the integration card, and they're both in the reverse. A lot of reversal cards are coming out. Yeah, the integration card. This person is a very broken and fragmented person, and that just keeps on coming up throughout the cards. They're broken. They're not whole. They need serious help, like psychological help. They're not right in the mind, and that's very clear here. All right. And I am seeing here too, there's a mother figure that's coming out. It wouldn't shock me at all if their mother is the person who has harmed them this way or who has broken them completely, because this is a mother figure who is like cold or who is very mean, calculating, not nurturing. This is like a mother figure who, I mean, it's a mother, but they don't have any maternal instincts whatsoever. They're just not nurturing to their child. They're actually quite cruel and cold to their child. I feel like the mother has some type of mental health issues as well. The mother is broken as well. So it's like a generational curse that's being passed down. And I feel like you have this nurturing maternal energy that they are subconsciously drawn to. And again, they see you as someone who can meet their needs, but they can't meet yours. It's like they're almost like they're seeing you, and this is going to sound weird, but it's almost like they're seeing you as like a surrogate mother a little bit. Like the love and validation that their mother was supposed to give them, I feel like you have given that to them, like this nurturing energy. I mean, I'm getting that this is like a romantic relationship, so I don't want to make it weird and be like, oh, they see you as a mother. Like, I'm not saying that, but you get what I'm saying. Like, this person, to me, it feels like they have mommy issues. And I do want to say too that for some of you, this isn't romantic. This could be like a friendship, or take it as a resonate for. But for a lot of you, this feels romantic to me. And yeah, this person doesn't know how didn't know how to let you go because you were meeting their needs, because you were such a good person with such a good heart, and you made them feel so good about themselves. It's like they did not want to let you go, so they wanted to keep on lying, keep deceiving, keep saying, I'm going to get better, things will get better, keep making you promises that they couldn't keep, because they're so driven by their own desires, they're so driven by their own desire to meet their needs, that they don't even stop and consider how much is draining you, how much is hurting you, and how much they can't meet your needs, and how it's not fair to you. Now, I'll say this. It kind of reminds me of a baby, like an infant, right? If you think about an infant doesn't say, oh, I'm not going to cry tonight because I don't want to wake mom up. She's been up 3 nights in a row. She needs her sleep. I'm just gonna chill in my crib and not cry tonight. No, the infant is going to cry, wake the mother up, because why? Because the infant wants their needs met. That's the only thing they can think of, is getting their needs met. They don't think about, oh, my mother's drained, my mother's tired, she needs sleep, she needs this, she needs that. An infant doesn't think about meeting the mother's needs. The infant only can think about their own needs. That's what I see in this person. It's like they have a very emotionally immature infant way of thinking. And again, I just feel like their mother has, or someone in their family, some sort of maternal energy, or someone who's supposed to love them, has like really damaged them and broken them to the point where they are extremely juvenile and emotionally immature. um and that's why, and again, that's why they lied, that's why they pretended, that's why they did all that, because you were meeting their needs and they wanted to keep getting those needs met. And again, I just feel like you're someone who has like such a good heart. You have so much nurturing and maternal energy that you're going to attract these types of people. Like, these people are going to want to latch on to you, but it's going to be up to you to have a certain level of like boundaries, pretty much. Like, that's the only way to keep these type of people from draining you completely, is to have boundaries and to be aware when you're giving too much and when they're taking too much from you. Because I feel like your maternal energy, it's like you can overextend it, you can give too much. You see somebody that's hurting, or you see somebody who's in need of love, and you give and give and give until the point where you are completely drained. And people like this will take advantage, because they're like infants in the mind. Like, they're like 2 3, like they're well, it's 2 years old is not an infant, but y'all get what I'm trying to say. They're like babies, they're children. They are wanting to get their needs met, and they are not going to consider what it's doing to you and how it's hurting you. And if you're someone who has a void inside of you as well, and you fill that void by keeping certain people around you, or holding on to certain people and clinging on to certain people and overextending yourself, then that's just going to be a recipe for disaster in terms of you being drained and you not being loved properly. And also, this type of person can easily form a trauma bond with you as well. You can form a trauma bond with this person that makes it even harder to walk away from them. When they are doing the hot and cold thing, like one minute they're love bombing you, the next minute they're cold towards you, that causes a very serious trauma bond, and it can be hard to walk away from that type of dynamic. So the next thing that I asked my cards is, were there parts of the relationship that was genuine? And what I heard intuitively is that it's actually best to not ask yourself that question, because if you start to dwell on, was any of it real, it's going to drive you crazy a little bit, and it's going to actually hinder you. And I'm hearing this very clearly, that it's going to hinder you from moving forward. It really is. This is one of those things where it might be painful to say, oh, none of it was real, but it's going to be even more painful and even more difficult for you to move on if you are ruminating on which part was real, which part wasn't real. You see what I'm saying? Because this type of person, like I said, they're just extremely selfish. So it's like everything they do, I'm hearing like everything they do is an illusion to get their needs met. So trying to dig through those illusions and figure out, okay, which ones were kind of true, which ones were not true, like that is going to it's just going to keep you stuck. But what I will say this though, there was a certain friendship aspect of your relationship. And I do feel like the friendship aspect probably was the most real part of this. Like times where you were just genuinely hanging out as friends. I mean, even if this is someone who you were romantically invested in, right? You know how you have those times with your partner, with your romantic partner, where you could just feel the friendship overflowing. Does that make sense? It's like I think about people that I've been with in the past, and there's been times where we don't have to be like cuddled up or doing anything romantic. We could just be hanging out at home, watching a movie, and like the friendship aspect of the relationship were things that was like an aspect of the relationship that I really, really cherished. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm kind of seeing here is that if any part of this relationship was real, that it's safe for you to kind of dwell on, it was those moments of friendship. That was real. But again, this is not something that you want to completely dwell on or um, comb through too much in your mind or like hold on to that one little piece because it'll hinder you from wanting to move on. And I even hesitated to say the part about the friendship because I don't want any of you like saying, oh well, maybe I should go back to them and just be friends with them. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Once you have a trauma bond with someone or you have this type of like heartbreak with them where they open up these wounds, this is someone who you do not go back to because you can easily overestimate yourself and you can think, "Oh yeah, well maybe I can be friends with them." Because you still want to hold on to them. No, you cannot be friends with them because if they say the wrong thing or it's like it's kind of like when someone has an addiction, right? And they're like, "Oh, I can go and hang out at parties with the people who I used to indulge in substances with and I should be fine." But no, if someone says something like, "Hey, you want to try this?" or "Hey, just take a little hit of this," it can easily stir back up those feelings of being addicted. And it's very similar with people that you have this type of trauma bond with. You don't want to stir up, they could say like this the trigger word for you and it could start to stir up any types of emotions, right? There's just so many things that can go wrong with that. So I just mm-mm. I wouldn't recommend the friendship thing. That's why I said I kind of hesitated to even add the friendship part, but it did come through. So I did want to just, mention it. I guess someone needed to hear it, but I would say do not dwell too much on that aspect of it or any part of the relationship um, where you're wondering if it was genuine. It's best to just see this relationship as a relationship with someone who is very childlike in the mind and who is just driven by their own selfish needs. Um, so the next thing I heard intuitively is that you didn't do anything to deserve this, but there are some things that you can do moving forward to avoid it. And Spirit wants me to be very clear that you did not do anything to deserve this whatsoever, because some of you are questioning yourself. What did I do to deserve this? Because it's so painful. You did nothing to deserve this. But again, I just pull cards for what you can do later on to avoid it from happening again. So we have the clinging to the past card and we have the completion card. So with the clinging to the past card in the reverse, that card is very, very clear. This card is saying that in order to, well, first off, there needs to be a transformation, like a drastic transformation that needs to happen in order for this type of thing to never happen again, right? And that goes for any toxic relationship or any like just anything toxic that ends in your life. Transformation has to happen afterwards. It there's really no other way to overcome these types of intense cycles, right? Transformation has to happen. So I feel like what this is saying is that you're definitely needing to look into the past, right? Look into the patterns that have been going on throughout your life and see how it relates to your relationship with this person. And those are the things that need to be changed. Okay, I'll give you an example. For me, a pattern that has been very consistent throughout my life is that I do not know how to let go of people. Once I attach myself to someone and I feel like they are meeting my emotional needs in some way, then I'm going to hang on to them, even to the point where they can get extremely toxic, they can get extremely abusive, and I'll just continue to hold on to them because it's like they're meeting that need, they're filling that void that's inside of me, right? And I form a codependent relationship to them. I need them to validate me, I need them to feel good about myself, I need them to acknowledge me and love me, so I will not let go of them. And that's been something that has been consistent with my life since I was a child. Literally, it stemmed from neglect and childhood trauma, obviously. And so as an adult, when I was getting into these relationships and I've noticed that these people were being abusive and I was not letting them go, I had to really sit and get down to the root of it and see that my inner child is extremely, extremely wounded. There's still a very deep void inside of me, and that it needs to be filled with genuine love, not just self love, because yes, self love is needed, but I also need to seek out genuine attachments, genuine connections that are not rooted in codependency. And that was a major transformation for me. It was a major transformation for me, going from finding one person, clinging to them, becoming codependent on them, and then having to shift into letting people go completely, never speaking to them again once they abuse me, and seeking out genuine connections, seeking out genuine love, and ultimately learning how to love myself as well, and to meet my own needs, and to fill my time with things that fulfill me other than relationships as well. That's a drastic change. That's a drastic change from like being a severe codependent to that, to being like this independent but still values healthy connections, has creative hobbies, focuses on career, focuses on self-love, building their relationship with God. That's a major transformation, and that's what I mean when I say that. That's what a lot of you are needing to do. Like, you're needing to look through your past, see how it relates to this person, look at the patterns, and then figure out the transformation that you need to make in order to never even be attracted to this type of energy again. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I feel like there's this realization that a lot of you are going to be having, that the reason that you would get into the relationship with these types of people is because you felt incomplete. You felt like half a person, like you need your other half to make you feel complete. And you're coming to the realization that you are a whole person. You're not a half. So you don't need another half. And I'm not saying, oh, go into isolation, you don't need anyone, close yourself off, because no, I think that would be counterproductive. What I think it's saying is that there's a certain level of self-love, there's a certain level of healthy self-love and self-validation that is required, and that raises your self-esteem, so that you can attract other whole people into your life, so you can be attracted to other whole people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you won't be attracted to broken half people if you don't see yourself as a half. Once you start to see yourself as a whole, you'll be attracted to other people who are wholes, and then you will enrich your life. You see what I'm saying? It'll be an enriching love, an enriching experience. It won't be like this codependent, toxic nightmare. So that's what I'm saying. Let me pull one more. I'm going to extend this video, by the way, because I want to dive deeper into this person's into that person's psyche. Like, I really want to see more into whatever happened to them to make them the way that they are. All right, let me pull one more. Yeah, the Master card is here in reverse. So this card is saying also that this is going to be a journey that you're not going to, it's like you're not going to be an expert at it right away. This is going to be a gradual transformation. Like, don't think you're going to wake up tomorrow and suddenly you're just like this independent, self-loving, high self-esteem person. Like, no, there's going to be the urge to slip back into like toxic coping mechanisms. There's going to be the urge to want to go back to this person. There's going to be the urge to want to go and stalk them on social media and see what they're doing. There's going to be just the urge to go backwards, and you're needing to give yourself a grace when that happens, but you're needing to try your best to push forward anyway. But don't expect yourself to be perfect. You're just a student, is what I'm hearing. You're a student of life. You're learning as you go. And again, this is major transformation that's taking place. This is you shifting from one way of being to a completely different way of being. So it's going to take time. It's going to require you to take baby steps. And don't think that you have to, like, just because you have the information now and you have the knowledge about it now, don't think that you have to be an expert or a master, that you have to wake up tomorrow and be completely different. Because that's not the case. You have to take baby steps and build slowly but surely, is what I'm seeing. All right, so let's see your advice for moving forward, and then we're going to go into the extended, and we're going to look more into this person's psyche, and channel some messages from their higher self as well. So let's see. Advice and comfort for moving forward. Ordinariness, celebration. Okay, and the clinging to the past card is coming out again. So with the celebration card coming out here, I do feel like you're needing healthy connection. You are. I feel like a lot of you have been kind of taught, or you've maybe heard online, like you need to go into isolation, you need to love yourself, you need to be alone. And yeah, like that's partially true, but you don't have to be like completely isolated. Like yes, there has to be some time for you to be by yourself, for you to really feel your own energy, to experience your own energy, to get to know yourself on a deeper level, to love yourself. But connection is still important. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially when you lose a major connection, connection is an important part of the healing process. So that doesn't mean go and jump into a new relationship. That would be just counterproductive. It's saying like go out and maybe meet some new friends. If you want to go on little casual fun dates, you can do that as well. Again, don't form a new deep emotional attachment. Don't even, please don't even go near anything like that. It just wouldn't be wise. But it's like go out and make new friends, connect with like-minded people. Go out and have fun, have new experiences, make new memories, because new memories, new fun memories are really part of the healing process, especially when you're trying to kind of recover from these old memories that you have. Because I know firsthand, when you find out that somebody has not been real with you and they've been like their mask comes off, it's hard to even reminisce on the good memories, because it's like everything reminds you of how terrible they were now. It's like, oh my God, all of this was fake. My favorite restaurant I used to go to with them, fake. This movie we used to watch together, it was all fake. They were faking it. It's like all the good memories become bad memories, and you have bad associations with these things. And having those new memories and new connections to share, um, these new memories with, it's very important. So I would say to try to connect with some new people, try to go out and have fun, make new memories. And it doesn't have to be anything deep. Like I said, it doesn't have to be you jumping into any type of codependent type situations. It can be very lighthearted, casual, fun, friendship type things. I feel like some of you are in need of more friends. You are. And I know it's scary to make friends, because friends can be just as toxic, just as manipulative, just as narcissistic. So you have to be careful of that too. But I do feel like some of you are just in need of more friends with like-minded people. That could be a reason why you cling to certain people when you're like dating them romantically, because you don't have any other sources of love in your life, you see. So that could be the message for some of you, is that you're needing to make more friends with more like-minded individuals. So ordinariness, this card talks about doing the same things every day, like being on like a schedule and living like a very peaceful life. So even though it's saying like go out, have some fun, make some new memories, it's also saying that it's going to be important that your day-to-day routine is a little bit predictable. It's a little bit peaceful, because I feel like your nervous system is trying to get settled after dealing with whatever this person has put you through. Like when somebody's mask falls off, it's a shock to your nervous system. It really is. And I feel like in order for you to kind of heal and recover, like, recover from the shock of that, recover from the heartache, you might need to have just like a peaceful schedule that you do every day, a set morning routine that you partake in, a certain nighttime routine that you partake in. It's like planning your meals for a certain time every day, just having a set schedule, and having a bit of predictability in your life can really help you. I also do feel like it's saying to prioritize peace and to stay away from high stress environments and high stress situations. For me, like when I'm heartbroken, I have to kind of stay away from social media, because social media is a very high it can be a high stress environment. I mean, it depends on your timeline and stuff like that, but because I have a lot of followers on social media, it can get kind of stressful. So that's just an example of like an environment that's it's an online space, but it's still a high stress environment. So I have to even set boundaries on social media, like, okay, I can only be on here for a certain amount of time. I can't just, haphazardly scroll. I have to actually like post on there and then, log off after a certain amount of time, like that. Like, just try your best to stay away from stressful situations, stressful environments. You just need rest and you need peace. It's kind of like the emotional wounds that you have. It's kind of like you're needing to treat them like they're physical wounds. If you had a physical wound, you would wrap it in a bandage, make sure that nothing is touching it so that you can recover, right? So that's what I'm seeing. Listening to music could be good too, is what I'm hearing. Adopting a creative hobby, that could be something that you do instead of like being around or doing stressful things or being around stressful people or stressful environments. You could kind of retreat to like your little cave and practice like your creative hobbies and things of that sort. That could be something that could be a message for some of you. Also, I'm hearing going outside and being with nature. I know that it's the winter time for a lot of people, so going outside can be not appealing. Yeah, I hate the cold, but sometimes I feel you need like some air or to go out to the park, into nature. I think that that can be very grounding and very healing for you as well. Um, is what I'm seeing, and then I have the flowering card followed by the clinging to the past card. So yeah, the clinging to the past card is coming out again. So again, there's just this message that's coming through about how you are going to slip backwards into the past. Like, it's just not possible for you to just, you're not a robot. You're not going to be like, all right, I heard this tarot reading, boom, I'm never looking back. No, there's going to be days where you dwell. There's going to be days where you are looking back. You're going to be tempted to go and check their social media. You're going to be tempted to go and look through, like, maybe you still have your text thread saved, you're looking through old messages between you, you're reminiscing about things you used to do together, and it's going to be important for you to give yourself grace, but don't enable yourself either. Don't say, oh, it's okay to do this because I'm healing, I can go and check their social media one time, it's just me healing. No, like, give yourself grace, but don't enable yourself either. Like, you have to every day be committed to moving forward. Every part of your day needs to be committed to forward motion. All right. So for me, for example, when I was going through a bad breakup, whenever I felt like I wanted to go and check their social media, I would instead write a Twitter thread, like just expressing like something about mental health or something about like narcissism, because this is when I broke up with the narcissist. I would just go and rant on Twitter. Like, I wouldn't specifically be like, oh, let me rant about my ex narcissist. Like, I would just go and just make a thread about like something I learned about narcissism or something I learned about just psychology related. Like, every time I wanted to go and check, I'm like, that's pushing me towards the past. If I want to go and check his social media, that's pushing me towards the past. So what can I do instead that'll push me towards the future, that can distract me? And that was making a Twitter thread, because I was building my platform. So anything that I put into my platform is moving me forward. You see what I'm saying? So everything you do during the day should be helping you to move forward in some way, shape, or form. And yeah, clinging to the past, like I said, if you enable yourself too much, you're going to stay stuck. Like, a lot of time is going to pass and you're going to realize that you've stayed stuck in the wrong, in the, in the past for too long. A lot of time will pass and you'll start to actually feel resentful that you feel like you wasted so much time. Like, they've already wasted so much of your time in the relationship, and now afterwards they're wasting even more of your time because you're staying stuck on them. So everything you do needs to be geared towards the future, going forward, comforting yourself in the moment and moving forward. And anything that'll hold you backwards, you needing to replace those habits and to fight those urges. You see what I'm saying? And you'll see slowly but surely how this person will start to just fade. They'll start to fade and they'll start to be a distant memory, because you'll be doing so much that's moving you into the future and helping you to transform, and you are becoming this new person that they just no longer fit. They no longer fit into your life. They no longer fit into your headspace. They just don't fit. anymore. And it's not going to be easy. It's something that you're going to have to try hard at. Like, you're going to have to keep on pushing yourself whenever you feel yourself slipping backwards. But I'm telling you, with time, the pain is going to go away. The desire to go backwards, it's like they're going to not fit into your life at all anymore. Like, I was in a 4-year relationship when I was in college, and I when I was with this person, I never could imagine that what my life could be or would be without them. And now, 10 years later, 10 years out of that relationship, and I'm laughing because it's like, I can't, that person fits nowhere into my life is so drastically different from 10 years ago when we were engaged. That person fits no, like, what would I do with that person? That person fits nowhere into my life whatsoever. Their mindset, the way that I'm not going to say too much because, like, I'm cool with him. But, like, just the thought, like, where would this person fit? We have nothing in common whatsoever. Like, once you go through this drastic transformation, you have new experiences to overlay, like, these old ones. They just cease to exist because they just don't fit, and that's the truth. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing for you. This is not this pain is not going to last forever. This too shall pass, and don't rush it. You got to see your way through it, love yourself through it, pray a lot, lean on God. God is right there to be a rock for you, to be a source of unconditional love for you. If you have nobody else, turn to your higher power. You know what I'm saying? Turn to God, the universe, source, whatever you believe in, turn to that higher power. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing for you guys. I really hope this was helpful. We're going to extend this, and I want to look further into this person's psyche. I want to see what's going on in their fragmented mind, and then we'll see if we can channel some messages from their higher self, and we'll end with some more advice for you moving forward. So yeah, that is it. I love you guys. I hope this was helpful. The link to the extended will be in the description box, and I will see you guys over on the extended.